Welcome back, folks. We're here in the shop. I'm about to head out and trim up some of those red pines, but in order to do so, I got to make sure the chainsaw is up and running, ready to go. So I haven't used this since the last time I was out, and just before I headed out this morning, I just made sure the chain was loose. And in order to do that, what you can do, I'm going to put on a glove to do this. In order to do that, you release the chain brake. And you can actually, by using pretty much anything, I'm just using the scrunch as they call it. I'm going to put it on the back of the tooth, and I'm just going to try to pull it forward. And notice how I can't pull it forward. So the chain should be going this way towards me. I can't do that. So it's obviously frozen. And it does happen, especially because I was cutting last time and it was raining and all that stuff. So it's probably frozen somewhere along the bar or under the cover. So I went ahead and I tried to break free the chain, so you can see how the chain is lifting up from the bar. So I tried to just break it loose to make sure it's not stuck on the bar, and I did that all the way along here, and it's loose on the bar. So I know it's not frozen on the bar, so it's probably frozen under this cover. So I'm going to loosen this cover off and take it off. Oof. Got ice build up here. I got to make sure the scrunch is on properly. There we go. So I'm going to loosen this off. There's so much build up here. It actually, I've got all kinds of ice and frozen debris around this nut. Barely get this thing on here. Let's try it this way. I tell you, it's winter. I'd rather have it cold all the time than this hot cold business. It makes everything a bit of a nightmare. Anyways, I think I got it there. Loosen it off. Okay. And oftentimes people will they'll go ahead and they'll try to pry this cover off, and it won't come off easily. This cover should come off easily. If it doesn't come off easily, what I find you have to do, in addition to making sure the chain brake is off, so mine's off right now, you need to loosen off the screw right here. So this screw, that controls the tension on the chain. If you loosen it off, I find, and of course it's covered in ice in there, if you loosen it off, there we go. And there's usually a sweet spot where the cover will fall right off. You notice how mine's on there a little bit? So I haven't quite found the spot. I'm just going to loosen it a little bit more. Still a little snug. The only trouble with some of these Huskies, mine included, is with the clutch mechanism you're about to see, located on the outside. So the outside of the sprocket, the drive sprocket, you actually have to pull the chain brake spring off the clutch. And for me, on days like today, where it's pretty much frozen in place, like look all that junk in there. So there's that chain brake spring, you can see it. I have to pull this off the clutch, and that's the only downside with some of these Huskies. I know some of the Steels and other brands, they have this clutch on the inside of the drive sprocket in there. Anyways, look at that. That is not going to be good for sawing. So what you got to do is you got to dig all this gunk out of here, and it's also good to make sure it's out of your saw in here. So assuming I go ahead and do that, the other thing you want to do before you head out is to make sure your chain is actually sharp. And I know this is sharp because I just sharpened it. But in order to tell whether it's sharp, you likely won't see it on the video. But if you were to look at each individual tooth, so there's a tooth, they're just in opposing directions. If you look at a tooth and the inside of the tooth is facing you should have a clean edge all across the top and all the way down the right side. On this one, same thing, but because this is an opposing tooth, the edge should be pretty clean cut, should be pretty straight, all the way across the top, all the way down the edge, right? If it's not, if you see nicks in there, that means you've probably hit some dirt, things of that nature. If it's real bad, you'll probably want to hit a bench grinder. I've got a chainsaw chain sharpener, a bench grinder version over there. If it's just a little bit dull, you haven't necessarily hit dirt, maybe it's just been used quite a bit since the last sharpen, you can usually touch it up with a file. Another day we'll do some chainsaw filing. I'll talk about the these little jobbers, the dogs right in front of the actual cutting surface, right in front of the tooth. These are very important too. They determine basically the depth at which these teeth can grab into. The further these are ground down, the more wood this tooth can grab. So those are important as well. I'll show you a gauge we use to measure that. Anyways, I'm going to start to get some of this frozen stuff out of here. And as you can see, this is going to be quite a job because of that melt. Holy smokes, that melt and that thaw. So bear with me. I'm going to put some heat to this, I think. So one thing I should point out before we go ahead and reassemble this unit is the bar itself. Now, the bar takes a lot of abuse depending on who's using the saw. This bar here, as you can see, it's seen its day. So we're just about ready for replacement on this. Another thing you should be checking with your bar is the sprocket at the end. This should be able to spin freely. Mine, I'm noticing I'm unable to spin it at the moment. Sometimes that's due to two things. One could be it's worn out and it's completely seized. The other could be it's simply frozen. And because I was cutting last time in fairly warm weather and now it's quite cold, it's probably frozen. So I'm going to see if I can break it loose here. And I think to do that, I'm going to come over to the vise. Okay. I'm just going to carefully try to position that. Okay, there we go. So notice how it's still a bit stiff. It's probably because I'm working the ice out of it, but it's getting easier. So working it back and forth. And you'll notice that spins freely. I can feel a slight bit of resistance, which is probably the oil I put in there. This is the grease rather that I put in through this hole in the bar to grease the sprocket. So anyways, we're good there. So that bar is still okay. The other thing I check is the actual grooves. Now the grooves where the chain runs along. And what's crazy is I can see just some little rust spots along the top of the bar. That's just from the saw sitting after being wet from the last time I was out. Anyways, you can use a few things to inspect this groove here. What's important is to make sure the groove is clear. And so on some of these scrunches, the ones that come with the saw, this one's a little torqued, but whatever. You'll notice it's sort of positioned a little differently or built a little differently than your normal flathead screwdriver. And the reason it's positioned like that or built like that is it can fit inside the groove quite nicely, and it's used for cleaning out the groove. So So you want to make sure that groove's cleaned out. You need this cleaned out because that's the pathway that oil is gonna travel in order to lubricate the chain on the bar. So going through, making sure that's cleaned out. And I'm pretty confident that's cleaned out now. One thing I always do, and it's just something I've always done, is I flip the bar over every time I need to inspect it. So if I feel that it's needed to take the saw apart, clean it, and inspect it, when I reassemble the chain on the bar, I just flip it over. So you can flip it over as many times as you need to, and what that does, it just makes sure that the wear patterns on both sides of the bar are even. Now, if you start to get this shows me I had a lot of heat right here at one point, so I had some burning going on. If you start to get this and it lasts too long, what you'll end up getting, you won't probably be able to see it, but you'll end up getting a change in this nice shape of the bar. You'll get a deformation. You get a deformation in here, it's when you're going to have premature wear on your chain, and you got to replace the chain and the bar. One thing the dealer had mentioned to me, and I found quite interesting a while back, was that when you change your chain, sometimes it's a good idea to change the bar at the same time so that the chain wears to the pattern on the bar and vice versa. Whether that's a sales tactic or not is another story, but yeah, take that with a grain of salt. All right, so I'm going to reassemble and go from there. Well, here we go. Last thing I'm going to do before we head out in the bush is make sure there's fuel in it. Great thing with these new Huskies, they have the flip up. So you see how that flips up? The flip up gas and bar oil reservoirs. Let's loosen it off here. I try to blow all the dust off, make sure it doesn't get down in there. Now I use 50-to-1 mix, that's what it calls for. I know some people run it a bit richer, but I find premium fuel, and I use the little Husqvarna pre-mix bottles of oil, and I find that works quite well. A little overflow. Okay, and the bar oil, same thing. Now, I find this one likes to stick in the winter for whatever reason. When I get sawdust in that's got water in it especially, it comes in here and just freezes a little. Anyways, one mention with bar oil is because it's cold out, you want to make sure you're using fall/winter chainsaw bar oil. It's a little more viscous, it's a little thicker than the spring and summer stuff, and so it's going to stick to the bar longer. It's not just going to fly off when you're working. So we'll top that thing up. And my rule of thumb, if I am needing fuel, I'm also going to make sure to fill up the bar oil. Okay. And make sure there's no sawdust on there. And that is good to go. So see you guys out in the bush.